Okay, so before we get started, I'm going to talk about tips on paperwork. I see that families find this really beneficial, so I'm just going to go through a few real quick and then we'll get into more of the details. So, tips on paperwork. Number one, get clearances done within the same month. So, you have a list of clearances and what you need. 90% of the time, you're able to get them done all in the same month. Tell your provider that's what you want to do, because throughout the year, I promise you, it's going to be so much simpler and you don't have to constantly think about paperwork month after month of what's due next. So try to keep all that done within the same month. If you find that you already have your clearances done and they're a little sporadic, that's completely okay. Go ahead and just wait until your next clearance that expires and you can just get them all redone during that month. So tip number two is laws change, therefore documents may change as well as far as what we need as an agency. So just to give you a heads up that, we may send you a list right at the beginning of when you go active to make sure that we have everything. It may happen where, say, 6 months into you going active, I may shoot an email saying that we need another clearance. And, just go ahead and get it done within a week or two so we can have that on file for you guys, because per contract, you're not able to have any expired documents with us. So I give that grace period of a week or two for families to get any new clearances that can happen. Okay, and check your email for any changes or reminders as well. So, like I said before, if things change and we may need a new clearance, I'm going to communicate that through email. So try to your very best check your email. If you don't do this already, then I really encourage you to do so. We find that communication happens a lot more smoother if you check your email and respond back to those emails. We're going to communicate about reminders for clearances and when they're due. I give a 2-month reminder for any clearances that are going to expire. So continue to check your emails for that. We send encouragement through emails as well. And Casey, Elizabeth, and Jessica, they all communicate through emails. When you become active, you can communicate through them through GroupMe. But since I am not in that GroupMe with you guys, I'm going to communicate with you specifically through email. So always check your email. The next one is, as far as clearances go, each clearance is going to look completely different and each state's clearance look completely different. So I'm going to talk about those today as far as what each clearance is going to look like for you guys. I'm going to pull 5 different states that we use the most, that families live in and send paperwork to us. So I'm going to go through each one and what that looks like. Let's see. Also, keep a binder of your adoption paperwork. A few of our families have done this and said that they have absolutely loved it because they feel like the adoption process is going by so much smoother, because when we communicate with them about paperwork, they know exactly what we're talking about. So I would just really recommend both husband and wife get educated on what paperwork looks like. So when we communicate with you guys, we're all on the same page of what that looks like. So creating a binder is really great. Not only will I have a copy of your paperwork, but so will you. Let's see. So that leads us to do not send any more paperwork than what we are asking for. I know that families like to send extra things just in case, but I promise you, if we need anything, we will let you know way in advance. So families who send multiple copies of documents end up having a really messy file, and it makes it really hard for me to organize your file. Also, if you end up sending multiples of paperwork, I just end up shredding it because I just don't need it. And so now let's work on both ends. We have limited space here in the office, so sending your home study application, sending multiple copies of your home driver's license, marriage license, all that. I don't need any copies of that. We just need exactly what is off the list that we have sent you. So our next tip kind of rolls into this as well. So your provider is going to have a list of things that they need from you as well. You'll find that both of our lists are going to look different, and that's completely okay. Your home study, let's see, I suggest that if your provider needs documents that we don't require, that you just keep that in your binder. So let's see here. Keep that in your binder. Keep it for yourself. We only have one file for each family, so we just don't have extra space to store all of those things. So, if your provider says, we require 8 references for family member and for non-family member, don't send me all 8 references, just send me the 3 non-family references that we need. So that's kind of an example of extra things or even different things that your home study provider is going to need. So that's how I always say too, just to keep an extra binder or a binder just for yourself, so you not only have our things that we need, but you have the provider's list of what they need as well. The last tip I'm going to talk about is a provider may say, oh, it actually only takes us a couple of days to complete that clearance. So just follow back up with me a few days before the clearance expires and we'll get it taken care of. Most families agree and they're like, yeah, that sounds great. Awesome. Then you report back to me and you say, my provider only says it takes a couple of days. That is awesome. That's good that they can get it done in a couple of days. But I will go ahead and let you know that can be really dangerous for some families, because the families that normally say yes to the provider for that and follow up within a couple of days actually end up getting it to me very late, because obviously during that time, that's normally what happens when, sorry, I lost my train of thought. The day that you say that you need your clearance done is normally the day your home provider is sick or they're on vacation or they have tons of work to do, and now they're not going to be able to get that clearance back to you within a few days now, or a week, or a couple of weeks, and now your clearance is expired, and now you're stressed out because your clearance is expired and you can go on hold. So I always say, please try not to do this last minute. It's really important that you get clearances in on time or super early. We take our clearances really seriously here because it's illegal, and per contract, you cannot have expired clearances with us. You cannot be matched with an expectant mother and have expired clearances because when it's time for you to turn all that stuff in, that is just a big no-no. You need to have clearances that are within the date. So go ahead and get clearances done. We've also had families that have come back, multiple families who have said that it's actually taken them 2 months to get a clearance back to them, just because of things that have been going on with the provider themselves, not even the family specifically. So, but I'm glad that that's good that I can get a clearance done within a couple of days, but when I send a 2-month reminder, I would just encourage you to get ahead of the game and just go ahead and get that clearance done and over with and just sent back to us. Okay, so off my soapbox on getting clearances into us, I'm going to move in on more of some details.